Okay, Red Hat Technologies is what the title of the session is. I guess it's more useful for me to understand what it is that you want to find out and what you would like to find out in terms of what Red Hat can offer, what is your area of interest. Because we have a ton of things to talk about. I only got 20 minutes. So what I would like to do is to invite somebody, you guys, is there something that you wanted to find out that maybe I can talk about? And I have my Red Hat colleagues here as well from different parts of the world who may be able to chip in and we can do a collective session here. Because it's one thing to have a slide deck to show stuff, which in 20 minutes is not going to do justice. So I'd rather that we focus on some topic, some area that you think you want to listen to or find out about. So I give you a minute to think about it. I'm sure you want, okay, why did you want to come here and listen to Red Hat in the first place? There must be a reason. What was it that you wanted to find out? Because we've got a lot of things that we can talk about, and we have a lot of other speakers afterwards as well. So I just want to try and set the tone right now, so that, give a high level stuff, and then let's then dive into deeper topics. Yes?
I think the actual ARM ecosystem, but also the future going forward with of course, Red Hat now devices.
Okay. Okay, that's thank you for asking that question. Anybody here interested in ARM-related server class systems? Yeah, you got it. Okay, one of the things that we have done from an ARM point of view, we have a gentleman by the name of John Masters, who is championing, he's the chief architect for ARM for Red Hat. And we have, together with Linaro and the ARM consortium, to come up with a standardized specification for the system boards. I think it's called something, SBCA or something like that. The idea here is you have a standardized ARM-based CPU board on which you can now deploy any standard Linux-based operating system. No fancy tweaking, it's not treated as a handphone, for example. There's no special glue here, special glue there to have some specific stuff added. The intention here is to make sure we have the ability to roll up, to stack up, just like we can do with Intel systems, Intel motherboards. So, but with the ARM as the CPU architecture. So that's what we have done, and we have announced a bunch of boards that have been qualified with Qualcomm last week. Was it last week? In Bangkok, where they had the ARM summit happening last week in Bangkok, and so we showcased some standard, I think it's a 2U boards from Qualcomm. Okay, what was kind of funny about that is we didn't expect to see a Qualcomm board sitting there as the device that you can run your data center on. So that's great. So that's one part that's happening. From a Red Hat Enterprise Linux perspective, we will be supporting the ARM-based environment. I'm not sure the timeline for that, but that's it's on our roadmap to make that available. And that's why what we wanted to do is to ensure that you can actually go and buy a standard board that you can then deploy.
Also, I think that you guys were building, having ARM builds for, in fact, a couple of years. So I was keeping my eye on that. So it's great that the future ecosystem is now.
Yeah, it is. It is beginning to happen. You see, one of the things that we decided very early on is that our ARM deployment will be 64-bit only. So there are no 32-bit ARM deployment from a Red Hat point of view. For a very simple reason, there aren't very many, in fact, practically zero ecosystem that is 32-bit server-based ARM systems. There isn't one. So there is no real need to have that backward compatibility, so to speak. So if you're going to do this into a brand new platform, we will stick to the 64-bit. But then again, we needed to force the issue to make sure we have a standard board available across the environment. So we have, I think, currently about four or five different board manufacturers have standardized, including things like power management, making sure you recognize the devices accordingly, ACPI, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of work that's gone down. And it's all standard documents. So the documentation is available online, so you can go ahead and discover that for yourself, and hopefully, you know, it will be useful for you guys. So somebody else also is doing ARM-based stuff. Are you doing some ARM-based stuff, or?
Actually, just lab building, trying to build like, I'm from Docker side on, just building like Raspberry Pi plus just
Okay.
for fun.
Well, one of the challenges in the Raspberry Pi space is that it's not 64-bit. Not that, you know, that's bad. It's just not 64. Sorry?
It is now.
Well, that's i3, right? So, but you know, so it's evolving. So everybody is going to 64. So if you want to do this right from a data center perspective, which is really where a lot of the action is probably going to go to, you need to have 64-bit systems that are certified and run standard. No special juice that needs to go inside, because that's how the ARM world has always been, which is very frustrating.
Actually, so I think device tree was also instrumentally developed by Red Hat in conjunction.
That's right. The device tree was part of the idea in making sure that you have the ability to define your boards that go in and all the stuff that needs to be in a system that you need to deploy. And just boot, yeah. And it should just boot. It should just boot. So we want to avoid some of the mistakes that we have had to deal with in the Intel space. So when we have a brand new architecture, let's help define it correct on day one. So that's from an ARM perspective. Okay, any other questions other than ARM?
Well,
Yes?
I think for me, I was just interested in what else does Red Hat contribute to beyond just the distros. I mean, everyone knows Red Hat distros,
Okay.
but there's a lot of stuff that I think Red Hat actually is really active.
I will try and pull up a slide, but I think I don't want to waste time looking for the slide. But we have gone past the operating system as the basis. So just to give you a context, when I joined Red Hat a long time ago, all we had was RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise, that was it. There was nothing beyond that. And so over the last 13 or 14 years, we now have a middleware stack. And now, as part of the longer term play, is that stuff will be in the platform as a service. So we go up in the layer and what we call OpenShift. Now, along the way, as I was mentioning in my keynote this morning, the switch that happened in early 2013 was the idea of a container. So when you have a container that was formalized with Docker specs, so now you have the ability to deploy apps very lightweight, or I hate to use the phrase, but it probably helps for you to think it's a lightweight virtual machine. But it gives you, yes, thank you. But it gives you the opportunity to create apps that can go in. So from OpenShift as our platform as a service is where you can have containerized deployments of anything that you want to do. But again, this is where we get excited with new things and you forget some of the cleanliness issues that you need to worry about, which is what? Making sure you know what you're deploying, making sure you know where you have deployed it, making sure you know what's in it that you have deployed. So one of the things you want to think about, so that I can try and speed up and talk about the area that I want to specifically mention, the idea of a container. You want to download a container image and run whatever it is you want to run. If you're not going to get it from a trusted source, for some definition of trusted, where would you get it from? Okay, an example to give you. You go down to McDonald's. The McDonald's is downstairs, right? And they're making your order. They're making the hamburger for you. Now there happened to be just a minute ago a hamburger stack that was made, and somehow it was left away from the counter. It was left on the table next to you. No one has touched it. No one has done anything to it. If the guy at the counter says, "Sir, you can take that hamburger that's sitting next to you, but not something he's handing from the other side of the kitchen," would you accept that? Why? My question is, why would you not accept it? He tells you, "Look, you can take that. It just came from me a minute ago."
Risk.
Oh, okay, why is that risky?
It's might be tasty.
Oh, no, well, forget about the taste part, right? I don't know whether McDonald's are tasty anyway, so I guess that's a good point.
Yeah, because it's not coming from a trusted source.
Yeah.
You can see on the outside, looks like what's in it, but you don't really know what's deep inside.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. I just put everything together. My guy behind the kitchen, he just did it. He left it here. And I just put it there because I needed some space. I'm giving you the explanation why you should trust it. But if we have to go down that path, is that the way you want to do anything? So in other words, there is a notion of the mystery meat that is in the sandwich. Do you know what's inside? Even though you kind of know it came from somewhere, but do you really know that whatever's inside is what you think it is inside? So that's the notion of what we need to do from a trust perspective and how you deploy containers and stuff like that. Because that's a very, very important thing. I mean, we get very excited with new techie stuff. I mean, that's a given. That's why we are here. But we also need to think about the security part of it and making sure that when you deploy something, you know what you're deploying. And it comes from a trusted source. So that's some of the things that we are doing as well from a Red Hat technology perspective. We want to make sure that we can deploy something and give it to customers that we will be proud to eat ourselves. Otherwise, we're not going to ship it to you. Now, if the customer takes it from some other source, I mean, I can stop that, but I can only highlight you may want to think about it. Now, in return for that, we stand behind you and make sure that, you know, if you fall sick, we will try and cover your cost of falling sick, right? So because you took it from us. So it's that notion of making sure that we do the right thing for the customer as things move into that space called the containerized software development. Software deployment. So that's some of the areas that we are into. We are into a lot of spaces right now. And I think I remember the number that in the early days we had 1 or 2 SKUs. The SKUs are the items in the price table. Now we have a couple of hundred. So that's a lot. So there's a significant explosion of products and services. So we are no longer just a Linux company. So we are trying to bring open source development tools, open source deployment methods, open source accountability, and at the end of the day, what you want is to make sure that you as a customer are successful. And we want to be helping you along the way and be accountable to you. That's really what our messaging is. And so that's our product base. Okay. Yes, I'm told that I'm dead. I thought I'm landing right now. So any final statements? If not, I am out of here. Thank you very much.